Page 39, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's fun. Let's look it over. We have a new symbol here at the beginning. Instead of 4/4, they put in a C. Actually, a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, they put in C instead of 4/4. The 4/4 came later. The C was first. That was actually it stands for common time. And the common time is 4/4 time. So when you see a C, it is 4/4 time. And I'm liable to say either one. So common time or 4/4 time. Treble and bass clef. And we got half notes and eighth notes and quarter notes and whole note. Oh, this will be fun. It looked kind of ugly with all these eighth notes. And there's different ways we could have beamed these eighth notes. Here in the second measure, they've got 4 eighth notes beamed together. And they're all eighth notes because they're beamed together. They didn't have to do that. They could have beamed them 2 at a time. And if you look at the bottom, the last line of the first measure, there's 2 eighth notes and then 2 eighth notes beamed together. They could have done that with all the others, but they've chosen to beam them all together. It doesn't affect how you play it. It doesn't matter. It's just you need to understand their eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's all. And then we got phrasing. We'll do the phrasing later. So let's go through and make sure we got the notes and the rhythms and all that. So right hand starting with middle C here. And the left hand starts with middle C on the second measure here. Middle C position. And it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth. You go through and you play the whole thing through and make sure you can play the rhythm okay. Look at the last line. The first measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You just keep going. The beat just keeps going, and whichever hand gets the note next, that's what plays. Then you go back and you get rid of the hesitations, because you might be hesitating in places. You might look down or whatever and have to do something and hesitate here and there. That's okay when you're first trying to learn it, but you need to go back and cover those spots, practice those little spots, and get rid of the hesitation. A mistake people make when they practice, a very common mistake, I made it, everybody makes it, is each time you sit down to practice, you always just start at the first of the piece and you try and go through it. The problem is you don't always make it all the way through. So that means the beginning of a piece gets a lot of practice and the end of the piece doesn't get so much because you don't practice that as much because you don't make it all the way through. Well, when you have hesitations, if you don't practice those spots by themselves, they just stay there. You'll always hesitate. The hesitation won't go away. You'll be playing it for years and you'll still hesitate because you practiced the hesitation. Believe it or not, you actually practiced it. So if you're hesitating in a piece of music somewhere, let's pretend, second line, first measure, here. Let's pretend because I went from one hand to the other, I hesitated. Let's show here, and then I hesitate and I go here, and then I go on. Well, if I don't work on that measure and get rid of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just go over and over until it's a steady beat, if I don't do that, that hesitation will always be there. I'll never get rid of it. And after a while, the hesitation becomes a habit. In that piece, you'll always do it. It'll just be by habit. You'll think, no, next time I'll get it right. Next time I'll get it right. No, you won't. It'll be a habit, and you'll play that hesitation again. I've heard many times students performing their pieces, and they'll get to a spot and they'll stumble. They'll have a wrong note, or they'll hesitate, or something's wrong. And I know from their practicing that they have stumbled and they've made that mistake a bunch, over and over and over and over, and they never bothered to fix it. So now that mistake is part of their playing. That's part of that piece. I've done it. Most everybody's done it. I did not learn to fix it or how to fix it until I was in college, and I was studying piano in college. And then the teacher, because in college you gotta, everything's note perfect. It's got to be right there, very accurate. They don't take anything less. It's got to be accurate. So they have to teach you, if you're stumbling, and I keep stumbling on a spot, and over and over and over stumble on a spot, and then the teacher realized what's going on, and he said, no, you're practicing incorrectly, and we have to fix that. And that's why they have to, okay. So I drill that in. If you're stumbling somewhere, you're hesitating, go over those spots and get rid of them. You know, I say it very quickly, but it's so important that you do that. Then when you can do that, then put in the phrasing. Just look, it's like a breath. You just lift. So here in the last two measures of the first line, those two C's, one with each hand, in rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Then go on, then lift up, it's a phrase. Here. Lift up. Lift up. Then the left hand gets that C on the third line. Left hand. So you're getting the C's worked out, but make sure you still lift up between the phrases. That's important. Without messing up the beat. Now, you don't have to go that fast. You take it at your speed and you take it nice and slow so you have a steady beat. You can gradually speed it up over time later. Let's try this together very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3.